So my presentation is going to be about how to improve IT end user engagement. So this is coming from a perspective of how an IT organization can improve its engagement with end users. So hopefully most of you are IT pros or some similar variant. So it's coming from an IT organization perspective on how they can make better connections with their end users. And if the clicker would work. So we're going to be talking about these tools in Office 365 and some tips and tricks about how IT organizations can use them. A little bit about me first. I'm a Microsoft MVP for the last several years for Yammer, Teams, and community engagement. I'm also an IT service owner at Juniper Networks, where I'm the kind of owner of content collaboration platforms. Some that you're familiar with, I'm sure, and some that you might not be familiar with. And you can find me on Twitter as well. So the first thing I want to say before we get going in here is I think we could all improve our engagement with our colleagues by using the term colleagues and avoid calling them users. I think that when you call them users, it creates an us versus them, where you're putting them in a little box. And when they hear, oh, he's just a user, it sort of like creates this thing with IT. And one of the things that it kind of bugs me when someone says to me, well, IT said this. Well, yes, someone in IT said it, but who exactly said it? Because if they're talking about SharePoint and I didn't say it, it's not the right person who said it. So anyway, try using colleagues, or employees, whatever your local term is. It helps you show that you're all in the same boat together because you're all part of the same organization. Now, there's lots of definitions about IT, but I picked one. The role of IT organizations to provide technology services for colleagues in their organizations and ensure those colleagues are productive with the IT-provided tools, services, and hardware. In other words, help them be more productive to work in line with company goals, financial goals, products and services. Maybe using these tools to change corporate culture as well. So it's our role in IT to make those people successful. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is Microsoft Teams, using it as a support team back channel. I think there's a lot of ways that Teams can be really effective for IT organizations. Use Teams as a back channel. So as an example, like I mentioned, I support content collaboration tools in Office 365, and we have a channel specific to my reporting structure where we talk about support cases. Not every single support case, but the really tough ones, or ones that where one of my team members found some unique solution and wants to share with the other team members so that they can gain knowledge. So sometimes there's a tricky case. Can someone help me on this? Maybe two people are working together and they might need to have a little chat about it or go into a voice or video meeting as needed. The other thing that I use our support channel for is to give feedback to my team members. If they do a good job on a support case, I can give them public praise. All the other team members can see that and also gain knowledge from it. And so I just suggest if you've got a group of team that you're supporting something, create a back channel where you're having those conversations, because sometimes you want to talk amongst yourselves, and the great thing about Teams is that those conversations are saved. If a new member comes on board, they can get up to speed with the old conversations as well, and of course all the old conversations are searchable. The other thing I think where Teams can be really effective for IT organizations is during outages or P1, P2 style incidents. Set up a private team for the entire organization to have those conversations during those incidents. Invite people to come into the team as needed if it's on a certain support case or whatever. So that way they can have those chats, who's doing what, and they can get on those calls and talk in real time if needed. I've been on so many support calls, like we call into a phone bridge during some sort of outage or planned maintenance or something like that, and I've got to do something when someone else finishes their part, and I sit on the phone line for like hours because it's going to take a while, and it's like it'd be much easier if I could just follow the chat. Someone could mention me, hey Kevin, flip the switch now that I'm done with my thing, and I have to sit on the call all day, attach my phone or whatever. So you might consider creating a channel for all of those things, or maybe a channel for each P1 incident, something like that. All right, Yammer for open discussions. Now this is one that's going to be a little bit trying to convince you of the opportunity here, because I'm sure most of you are not using Yammer for IT engagement with end users. So I think there's a lot of opportunities here, so be open-minded. If you have Yammer at your company, there's a great opportunity for IT employees to demonstrate their expertise, respond to people with answers. If they say, I've got this problem with Skype or whatever, jump in there. I think there's also an opportunity to be transparent during service outages. If something's going on and the Washington, D.C. office is now finally online, but the New York office is still down, at least you could say that. Instead of waiting to the end, well, now all service has been restored. Gives those people an update and at least see what's going on. You can also make a deeper personal connection. When you respond in Yammer, it's attributed to you as a person, not the nameless faces IT help desk email or the IT communications email or something like that. They're going to know who you are, and now you become a person, and now they start identifying you as an expert. A lot of companies are using Yammer for things like a support group for a certain Microsoft technology like Skype, or the Mac users at my company have a little group in Yammer, and they talk amongst themselves. We can jump in there, maybe as the group owner, maybe to create announcements in Yammer, and have a deeper connection with our colleagues. You can also use Yammer for open feedback. And this isn't going to be something you're going to do this every day, but I think there's lots of opportunities for IT to become more transparent with their users, or colleagues, I should say. So as an example, a State of the Union. Recently, our CIO put together a post explaining all of what's going on with our journey with Skype, because we're on-prem, we've got a complicated story, we all know that Microsoft Teams is coming. So he put together this really, really long post and then invited feedback, questions, follow-up. And it was great because then the people could get all the details of all the things we've tried, all the things we're experimenting with, all the things we're planning to do in the upcoming quarter. And then they could jump in there. And that helps identify places where people are having issues or have feedback. Many companies are using Yammer for Ask the Executives or Leadership Corner. It's a great way for employees to ask questions, and IT leaders can be participatory there. And I think there's also an opportunity for IT business owners or leaders to ask for feedback from their colleagues. Hey, we're considering tool A and tool B. Does anyone have any feedback on that? Has anyone tried these before? Give us some feedback about which one you like. Also, I think there's lots of, like I mentioned earlier, technology-specific communities of interest. It's a great way to give people an opportunity to help themselves, to share knowledge amongst themselves, things like the Mac users or Office 365 specific groups. There's also groups of people in your organization have certain specific needs, like home workers or people with accessibility issues. Those people have unique experiences, and you can help them as an IT organization make deeper connections, understand better about what's going on with them, and service them better. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Canary in the Coal Mine, but just to make sure we're all on the same page, because this is a diverse audience, back in the old days, when they used to have coal mines, they would take these canaries in these cages and they would bring them down into the mine. And why did they do that? Because canaries have little tiny lungs, and if there was any poison gas in there, the canaries would die right away. And that meant it was time to get out of the mine, because as a human, your lungs are bigger, but you're not going to survive forever, right? So the canary in the coal mine was sort of basically the low-tech early warning system. I think that Yammer can be a canary in the coal mine for your organization. An early warning system when someone says something like, is anyone else having this problem? Well, maybe they are the only person who's having the problem, or maybe they're just the first person who reported it. So you can get, hey, maybe there is a problem in that Washington office or whatever. Or after a meeting or something like that, they can say, we had a meeting during the all-hands meeting. You could follow up with those folks and figure out what was going on, because guess what? There's going to be another all-hands meeting next week, and you'd rather avoid that problem the next time. My colleagues are having a problem collaborating. It's a perfect way to jump in there proactively and offer to help them. You'll believe me, you will look like a hero if you jump in proactively and try to help them out. Now, a lot of people are afraid, especially in IT organizations, that if you implement some sort of open communication system like Yammer, you will get complainers, you will get the haters. And I'm going to suggest that they can be your best resource. They're going to give you the feedback straight. And believe me, they will not skip on the details. And as IT professionals, sometimes we want those details. Also, when they say everyone is having this problem, well, okay, can you give me some names? They're going to have to give it to you. And now you can talk to those folks too, get a better sense of what's going on. And yes, they are going to be complaining. You will have to take the high road. But if you follow up, if you ask politely, they usually will return the favor in kind. I'm not going to say that's easy, but like I said, these people are going to give you the straight feedback, and sometimes you want it straight so you can improve things. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to monitor Yammer. I think obviously reading every post, but who has time for that, right? So there's a couple functions I want to let you know about you might not be aware of. In Yammer itself, in the admin console, there's a keyword monitoring function. You get a single email address, and it covers all of the conversations in the entire network, including private groups. And you can set up these keywords. And anytime someone creates a post in Yammer with one of these keywords or phrases, you'll get the email. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Well, why would you want to do this? Maybe there's some discussions about sensitive topics or products or competitive products. Anytime someone posts something about SharePoint on my network, I want to know about it. Because again, I can be proactive if there's a problem. And I'll show you an example. You can also do things with Yammer specific features. So that first one there that says, has created the, Kevin Crossman has created the SFB group. I get a notification when people create groups in my network. But guess what? Maybe if there's an SFB group created, there's already a Skype for Business, and I can tell that person who just created that group to kind of work with the other people. And of course, bird words, the words that I didn't include in the slide that we don't want people to use, and maybe it's a good way to monitor that behavior. So this is what that email looks like. It's not very pretty, but you can see here that someone said that SharePoint was working kind of slow. Now that was posted in our Netherlands office group. So believe me, I'm not checking out what they're talking about in the Netherlands office all the time, but I saw this message and I responded back, and the guy was, believe me, he was very impressed that I was able to respond proactively with him. The other thing you can do to monitor Yammer is in Teams. If you're already using Teams, you can get the Microsoft Teams connector for Yammer, and you can monitor in public groups all the messages from a certain group, like the Skype users, specific Yammer users, like your complainers, or certain keywords. And you can set up multiple for each of your channels. So anytime someone gets a message in the IT communications, or from these two anonymous now users, or in my SharePoint Office 365 help group, I'll get a message in Teams. And you can see what it kind of looks like here. It's a summary. It's not going to give you the full message, but it gives me a sense of like, oh, maybe our team, we should talk about this before we respond, or whatever. Now, one thing I will note is that this omits the title if it's an announcement, and this particular one was an announcement about Microsoft Forms, and so you lose a little bit of the context when the title's not on there. But anyway, it's a good way to be able to monitor things that are happening in Yammer without you having to live in there all the time. And then lastly, we're going to talk about SharePoint for help and training content. Now, we're not going to talk about SharePoint as an internet portal, all that sort of thing, but specifically for help and training content. I'm going to suggest that there are times where you're going to want to take control of that content. The Microsoft content that's out on the internet for help material, learning material, documentation is great, and it's getting better. But there are times where you want to produce step-by-step guides or tutorials or other explanation that are specific to your company, specific to your organization, sites and colors, your exact actual site itself, or maybe around certain features. Because sometimes if you've turned off certain things that are normally turned on, you don't want to send those users out to, colleagues, you don't want to send them out to the internet and say, oh, here's the help about this, but I heard about this other feature, why don't we have this? You want to avoid that. The other thing is if you house this content, it's permanent. You control whether it stays or goes and it doesn't move or whatever. That means it can be in your knowledge base, it can be linked off of your intranet or your help sites or whatever. So probably not going to do this for every single question that could possibly ever come up, but for common questions, it's great to be able to say to somebody, hey, I hear you're having this problem. Do you know we have a tutorial step-by-step right here, or a training video, or whatever. And again, it shows you that you're being proactive and you know what you're doing. So here's an example of what we did at our company. This is our SharePoint and Office 365 help group. Started as a Yammer group, and of course, because Yammer groups are connected to Office 365 groups, we have a SharePoint site. So on the SharePoint site, we set it up so that we have content around these different Office 365 tools. I also have an embed of the conversations that are taking place in Yammer. And then I've got some information about the team, information about our SharePoint Basics Bootcamp series where we deliver customized training to teams. So this is our landing page, and then we set up pages on all these different topics. And you can see for our SharePoint content here. Now, in our case, we set up basic information on our SharePoint page. What's a communication site? How do you work with documents? All the sort of general stuff that everybody should kind of need to know. But then we set up a separate page for site owners. All the specifics on how to change permissions and how to deal with the access request settings and all those things that site owners sometimes need to know about. I don't want to mix all this stuff up with the general user information because now it gets even more overwhelming. So consider doing something like that, doing something specific for site owners, because really those are going to be the tricky questions you're going to need to really kind of document for your users, your colleagues anyway. Right, it's hard, isn't it? So in summary, I kind of giving you some aspirational choices here. It may not be for everybody, but I think there's lots of opportunities, especially in Teams, to create those support back channels, plus all the other great features of Teams. Open discussions, canaries in the coal mine, communities of interest in Yammer, allowing IT professionals to demonstrate their expertise to others, and of course taking control of your content using SharePoint, a great platform for managing your content. So I was going to set this up for Q&A, but I learned yesterday it's way too noisy here, but I'll be happy to take any questions afterwards. Hopefully you got some value from this. Please evaluate the session, and thanks for your time, and have a great day at Microsoft Ignite.